What's up guys, Clayton from Team Reaper TCG, and I am going to try to go over this Buzz Armstrong deck that I used to win the League Cup in Russellville, Arkansas last weekend, and also to top 16 the weekend before last in Dallas. So I'm going to try to go over this real quick, and if you have any questions, just feel free to comment. So let's get started with the Pokemon. Alright, so we'll start with the Pokemon. We have got 3 Baby Buzzwole, which has the Sledgehammer attack for 1 energy. It does 30, and then of course with all your damage enhancers that you have in here, it can go 90 to 110 just on the first attack, Sledgehammer. But if your opponent has 4 prizes remaining, it does 90 more damage. So it'll do 120 base plus all of your other enhancers. Swing Around is a pretty good attack too. Usually Buzzwole gets knocked out before you can get a chance to swing around unless you have a Beast Ring turn. So, but Swing Around is still a good attack. So you've got 3 Baby Buzz. Then you're going to run 2 Buzzwole GX. Has the Jet Punch attack, which does 30 to the active and 30 to one of your opponent's bench. And again, with all the damage enhancers such as Diancie, Strong Energy, Muscle Band, you can do up to 90, 110 damage just with the Jet Punch. On the active. And then my favorite card in the deck is probably this guy right here, Zygarde EX. Land's Pulse does 20 plus. If there's a stadium in play, it does 20 more. And then once again, damage enhancers are a big thing in this deck. But Cellstorm is the busted attack because it does 60 damage base and then heals 30. So when you're going up against Trevenant, whenever they do their attack for 30, or even if they Tree Slam for 60, you're healing half of that back. So Cellstorm is a very, very nice attack. The only time that I did not want to see my Zygarde hit the floor was against bees and also, of course, against Pod. Alright, so then we also run 1 copy of Landorus EX. Landorus EX has the Hammerhead attack, which is the same attack as Jet Punch. Does 30 to the active and 30 to one of the bench. Land's Judgment is a pretty good attack on its own. Unfortunately, you have to discard all the energy on the Pokemon to do 70 more. But if you're in a situation to where Landorus is about to get knocked out anyways, then go ahead and use it and get a big attack off with Landorus. And the reason you run it is it's got the water weakness as opposed to the psychic weakness that Buzzwole has. Same with Zygarde being weak to grass. So we have also in this deck Carbink. Now this is the Energy Keeper Carbink, and it absolutely got me to day 2 against the Wailord Magikarp stall. I would attach 3 basic energy to Baby Buzz and just swing around until they could not heal anymore. And then of course you have the Carbink Break, which is Diamond Gift, which does 20 damage plus you attach 2 energy cards. Now it can be any, not just basic. So Strong Energy, if they don't faba it away, then you can attach that to one of your fighting Pokemon. So Carbink is absolutely fantastic. And of course you got Sudowoodo with a Roadblock, which limits your opponent's bench to 4, which is fantastic against Zoroark. Plenty of Zoroark, we know that in Expanded. And unless they're playing Garb, then Roadblock is a big headache for them. And then of course Diancie to finish off the Pokemon. It's got the Princess's Cheer ability, which gives 20 extra damage to all of your fighting Pokemon. So that's another one of those damage enhancers. Now 2 cards that have been kind of rotating in and out of this deck. I took out Giratina promo this past weekend. Of course, the it gets rid of the break abilities. So when you're going up against maybe Greninja, or if you see that pesky Trevenant, you just drop down this Giratina and you're able to play items as long as they have the break and the active. I took it out this weekend because I did not think I would see Trevenant, and unfortunately I did hit Trevenant. Kenny Bishop was playing it and I hit him in top 4. Luckily for me, and unfortunate for him, he bricked very hard in Game 1, which we did stream, and we will have that on our YouTube channel coming up probably this next week. And Game 2, he went first and could not get another Pokemon down, and I ended up getting the Donk. So, but I took it out of the deck, not thinking I would see it, but it sees play in this deck as well. And then Oricorio also, which I did not play in Dallas because of the Machoke, but I did play it in Tulsa when I won a League Cup with this deck. a few months ago, or about a month ago. So yeah, so that's all the Pokemon. Alright, so now our supporters. To me, this is probably the most important supporter. We play 4 copies of Karina. Karina is fantastic. What it says is that you search your deck for a fighting Pokemon, so it could be the break, it's not just basic Pokemon. Search your deck for a fighting Pokemon and an item, reveal them, put them into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Karina for Beast Ring, if it's a Beast Ring turn. If it's your first turn, you know, if you don't have energy, Karina for Energy Lotto. Karina for Muscle Band to get that damage enhancer going. You know, and it could be Karina Diancie Muscle Band. You have a strong energy in play. You know, you're all of a sudden you're hitting 90 or you're hitting 70 and 90 damage depending on what all you have. So yeah, Karina is absolutely fantastic, and you have got to run 4. You want a Karina almost every turn if you can. And then we play 3 copies of Cynthia, because there's not a lot of stuff in this deck that you can afford to ditch with a Sycamore. Now we do run Sycamore for late game to be able to thin your deck and then get what you need, but to be able to shuffle draw 6 is fantastic in this, because like I said, there's not a lot of stuff that you want to get rid of, especially energies, choice bands, muscle bands, things like that. So we play 3 copies of Cynthia, 2 copies of our buddy Sycamore. And so, as you know, Sycamore, you discard your hand and draw 7. So Sycamore is, you know, if it's all you have when you start the game and you've got stuff that you don't want to get rid of, sometimes you just have to do it. You can't be too picky, because if you don't get your board state set up, then you're going to lose. You've got plenty of stuff to go through. It's not optimal to do it sometimes, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And then, so, we are also, when it comes to shuffle draw, everybody's favorite, shuffle your hand into your deck, and then draw both your opponent, and you draw as many cards as you have prizes left. Of course, everybody's been into 1, and then lost the game because they had game in hand. And then, of course, we have Colress. Colress is fantastic and expanded, especially with Skyfield. If you don't have Sudowoodo out, you know, there's nothing like a Colress for 10 or 11, and it's not uncommon. Get what you need with Colress. So, 1 copy of Colress. Then we run 2 copies of your boy Guzma. Of course, everybody knows what Guzma does. It's fantastic to be able to pull something up into the active and get that big knockout, especially on a Zoroark or something. Or maybe you're going up against Trev and you're tired of being item locked, so Guzma up that Lele, and then you can play items. So run 2 copies of Guzma. And then sometimes you don't want to get out of the active. So we run 1 copy of the Lysander, and of course everybody knows the Verseeker for Lysander for game. And last but not least, 1 copy of Acerola, because sometimes you just want to clean up. It's just good to have late game, especially. You know, you need to get that big Buzz out of there and just put down a baby so they don't take 2 prizes. So Acerola is fantastic for that. So, but that's the supporter line. All right, let's hit these items and stadiums real quick. So the first thing we're going to do is stadiums. 3 copies of Brooklet Hill. Of course, Brooklet Hill is fantastic, especially if you end up starting with it and a Karina. That way you can grab your Diancie and your Carbink if that's what you need, or you can grab your Diancie and another Baby Buzz and start getting set up for your next, you know, for your next attacker there. Because the Baby Buzz, they do go pretty quick. So, but it's only 1 prize. So, then we're gonna play 4 copies of VS Seeker. VS Seeker to get back those Karinas, to start getting those items. You know, you need to get that late game Lysander or Guzma, Acerola, whatever you need to do. We run 4 copies of the first Seeker. Then 3 copies of Floatstone this past weekend, but normally the deck, it had ran 3, and then it got changed to 2. Now these changes in the deck are originally, I want to say it was James Arnold, I think it was the one that originally designed the deck. Austin Ellis made some changes to it and called it the Buzz Armstrong, and ended up top 8 in Portland. And then Caleb Gedemer made some changes that Austin told me about with the Carbink and that's what I played for Dallas. So these are the 3 different variants, but the variant this weekend I played 3 Floatstone because I dropped the Giratina. And of course, Floatstone's fantastic. You really only want it on your Diancie or your Sudowoodo to be able to get out of the active, because if they target anything with Guzma, it's going to be one of those unless they're taking a knockout. Damage enhancers. Let's talk about Choice Band. It does 30 more damage to your opponent's active EX or GX Pokemon. Fantastic. And then you're going to run 1 copy of Muscle Band. Muscle Band does 20 extra damage to all Pokemon, not just EX and GX. So not quite as powerful as Choice Band, but it doesn't have to be an EX or GX. Now we're going to run 2 copies of Beast Ring. Beast Ring, of course, if your opponent has 3 or 4 prizes, you can play this card. You search your deck for 2 basic energy cards and attach them to one of your Ultra Beasts. So let's just say, oh, we're going to Karina, and we're going to grab a Big Buzz and a Beast Ring, and then get ready just to go to work. So, yeah, Beast Ring is awesome. So the rest of it, these are one-ofs. Rescue Stretcher to get back whatever you need. Either you can shuffle it back in your deck and then use Brooklet to get it back, so you don't have to just put it straight to your hand. Or if you need to put it straight to your hand, you don't have a Brooklet, you can do that. 1 copy of Field Blower, just to get those Floatstones off those pesky Garbodors. 1 copy of Nest Ball, and this is why it's called Buzz Armstrong, because it only has 1 ball. And this is it. It's a Nest Ball. So let's say early game you want to get some Pokemon out. You know, Brooklet, and then you can Karina, grab a Pokemon and a Nest Ball, and you can Nest Ball for that Giratina if that's what you need to do. So that's fantastic to have there. 1 copy of Energy Lotto. This card has saved me so many times to where it's like, I have a basic energy in hand, but I know I need a strong, or I know I need the Beast Energy. So Energy Lotto is absolutely amazing in this deck. And then our last item card is going to be Computer Search, which of course you discard 2 cards from your hand like you would an Ultra Ball, and you can just grab anything you want. So that is the items, and real quick we will go over our energy count. So we're going to play 8 copies of Basic Fighting, 4 copies of Strong Energy, which is 20 more per Strong Energy attached to your Pokemon. So if you have all 3 of them are Strong Energies, you're looking at 60 extra damage, which doesn't happen often, but it has happened before. I have used it that way. And 1 copy of Beast Energy for the Buzzwole. It does 30 extra damage. So yeah. So that is the Buzz Armstrong deck and the variants that I used to win 2 League Cups this quarter, and as well as top 16 in Dallas. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me or hit up Austin Ellis. He'll be glad to talk to you about the deck. Like I said, shout out to Austin for keeping me on the list, and James Arnold and Caleb Gedemer for the changes and for coming up with the deck to begin with. And yeah, so hopefully we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching, Team Reaper.